Within Sage Intacct, entities are the highest level of reporting, aside from posting activity at the top level within the system. Generally, at the top level, you're going to do journal entries that entail needing to post across multiple entities. Therefore, they can be loaded as one journal entry at the top level. But if you're going to need to post an entry directly to an entity, you can select that particular entity to navigate to, and then at that point, you can do a general ledger journal entry or any journal entry at that point from within this particular entity. The other thing to note when you are setting up your entities, they are done within company setup entities. And if we look at the particular fields that go with setting up an entity, most importantly is your entity ID. If you're going to set this up alphabetically, they're going to list in your menu alphabetically. If you set them up with a sequencer numerically, they're going to be in the numeric order on this menu as well. So there needs to be some thought and design behind how you want them to be listed based on how you set up these IDs. And also the IDs cannot be updated once they've been created. You'll also need to give each ID a name, a tax ID. In addition to that, you have some other fields that you can populate if you want to have a separate legal name and address info for 1099 and 1096 forms, as well as tax payment activity. You can set up legal entity information that differentiates from what you have by default. As far as the additional things to consider and set up within the entities is inter-entity mapping. If I navigate to that under the company setup, what this allows you to do is post inter-entity transactions or create inter-entity journal entries. And when they are created, it will auto-generate due to, do froms based on this inter-entity mapping schedule here. As you'll see, for each entity combination that you include here, you'll have respective inter-entity receivable and payable accounts or due to, do from accounts for each entity combination listed here. And what that translates to is when you do journal entries that are inter-entity related, such as this that has a source entity here of the Pizza Dallas LLC and includes these two locations, 010 and 610, it will automatically create this inter-entity transaction for you as opposed to having to manually generate that, which you often see in legacy systems. The key is the inter-entity mapping has to be defined ahead of time, which allows this to happen. The other thing to note with Intacct entities is that entities can have child record locations underneath them. So if we go to locations, under reports, dimensions, locations, you'll see, for example, Austin, location ID 602, resides under the BPH Austin or Pizza Austin LLC entity. And the same thing is happening. As you'll see, there's a parent ID for all 22 locations listed here within that they all have a parent location record. So whenever you're populating the location dimension, that's going to entail your entities plus those child record locations with every journal entry you do with this particular dimension.